as soon as that letter came through the door, I knew it was something I really, really wanted to do.
It's all going to be hippies and airy fairies. And it wasn't. It's real people. It's 100 real people.
To actually now have the confidence to be able to put my voice out there and be heard.
If we didn't have everybody who's completely different with different opinions, we'd all just be the same. And we would get nowhere.
Very much.
I want to speak from someone who comes from a more shyer disposition, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in the room who are very much like that. I have to commend the group, everyone involved, from the committee to the Assembly themselves, that the level of inclusion and support to people to give their opinions and their values and to share that and for it to be considered and not shot down has been absolutely amazing. And I have noticed in myself, but as well in many other people here, who started off very quiet, very shy and quiet and with the quiver in the voice, and I still have a quiver in the voice, but to actually now have the confidence to be able to put my voice out there and be heard. And I have to commend this Assembly for giving me that ability, as well as others, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Robert. My legs are actually shaking a bit now. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Sabrina. I think she's brilliant, and I just want to thank her first of all, because she said that. I'm going to cry now too. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Edel, and I'm literally in my first year of college. But as soon as that letter came through the door, I knew it was something I really, really wanted to do. I'm usually fine at public speaking, sorry. I have such a big interest in climate change. I'm so passionate about it. So first of all, I really want to say thanks to the advisory group. The information you've given me has changed how I see things and how I go about my day. So I'm really thankful for that. And actually, one thing, from our very first table, the very first weekend, me and I think the 4 other people at that table bonded over one very specific and obvious reason, who we won't name, but sorry. To those 4 people, they're people I'll keep for the rest of my life. Like I said, I'm at the start of my career. I'm only young, and I've made connections and networks that I'm going to keep for the rest of my career. And to those of you who I haven't spoke to, listening to you has been monumental. I've changed my perspectives on things, and it's genuinely something I'm going to keep for a long, long time. So to all of you, thank you.
Thanks to Jean, to Jack, to George, to every single person here. I don't know who Jack or George is, by the way. If we didn't have everybody who's completely different with different opinions, we'd all just be the same. And we'd all say the same thing, and we would get nowhere. So, I mean, I'm not going to get emotional over Jean, right? But I'm sorry, right? But I've been at a table twice with Jean, and yes, he'll give his opinion, but we have to give opinions. If we don't give opinions, we're just going to do the exact same thing over and over again. I often ask myself, how did I end up being here, right? And I remember when the letter came in the box, and I actually put it in the bin first, and went, junk mail, next. And then I looked at it again, but no, it's not junk mail. Maybe I'm interested in doing something because it might make a difference, whatever that is. And then, as a few people probably know, I became a granddad in the middle of this. Well, actually in the middle, at the very beginning of it. And only last night as I was coming in, I have a video, if you want to see it later on, I'll show you. My grandchild took her first steps. As I walked in the door, my son sent me the video. And she took her first steps as I was walking in this door. And I thought, that's exactly why we're here. Honestly, well, for me, it is exactly why we're here. This might make a difference in our lifetime, but really, it's going to make a difference in future lifetimes. And if we don't do something today, we may not regret it, but our children might regret it, and our children's children will look back, and they'll blame us, because we can make a difference. And I honestly do believe, this will make a difference. And I've seen it happen. And I remember going down and going, what the hell am I doing here? What's going to happen? Who's going to be here? It's all going to be, it's going to sound mad, it's all going to be hippies and airy fairies. That's what I thought it was, right? And again, I don't mean that in a bad way, but that's what it felt like. And it wasn't. It's real people. It's 100 real people. 99 real people and 1 slightly special person, right? But it's 100 real people, and I really do believe we've represented our country and our future generations really well. And thank you to all including Jean, because without us all, no, I really, really mean this. The other, sorry, I'm going to finish up, I will. The other 18,000 people who did not respond to that card, we are representing them, even though they don't know we represent them. We really do. Last story, right? Yeah? Okay, last one. My mother is a complete skeptical of this thing. When I started, she was very, and I told some people this. She says, "What are you doing? You're going to biodiversity? What the hell is that about?" "Oh, it's about saving the planet, blah blah blah. It's about connecting the plants to the trees, to the birds, etc., etc." Just, you're wasting your time. And then about after the third or fourth one, I went to her one Sunday. We always go on a Sunday and visit her, and she says to me, "That hedge at the back, I think I'll let that grow. We used to have strawberries there once." She lives in a house, been there nearly 100 odd years. "We used to have strawberries there, and we used to have potatoes. I think I'll put some of them back in." And she did, and I asked her why. She said, "Well, why not?" she said. And that changed her a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. But that's all we need to do. Change each other a tiny bit, and the future will be much better. Thanks very much. I'll shut up now.
I've spoken to everybody here. I haven't had the privilege of talking to everybody, but for those people that I have engaged with, I just think we're so lucky as a group to be here. I know it's a big commitment for us, but with the diversity, I've met so many people that I would never have come into my zone before, you know, unless it was in this environment, and it's really fantastic. And it's an experience that definitely has enriched my life, and, you know, I'll go out of here with a very different perspective on lots of things, especially biodiversity, of course, but lots of other things as well. So thank you for giving me the opportunity personally to be here. Thank you.
Did we agree or decide the format of these meetings? Did we agree the agenda? Did we agree the topics discussed at the tables? Did we decide where to sit? To me, in some ways, it was a bit like at school, except school has like a 20 or 30 pupil-teacher ratio. But here, we have a 3-to-1 pupil-teacher ratio. We have 6 citizens and then a note-taker and facilitator. So we spent, as you know, a lot of time in open debate on the wording, but relatively little on the substantive issues. Largely, we rubber-stamped pretty much every proposal. And the proposals, originally they came in, the citizens didn't decide what went into the ballot papers. That was decided by the facilitators and note-takers. But then later on, everything was added by emails. But then once we got to the voting stages, it was open debate on the wording, but everything went in. I think there was one proposal that didn't make it. So I suppose that just seems strange. And that includes the wording, the technical wording of the referendum, which went in. And this is the human and substantive stuff. We didn't change that wording because, truthfully, nobody understood it. And I don't think anybody outside, you know, regular citizens, including us, really understand the wording of that constitutional amendment. So I suppose my fear is that, and my little concern is that, I mean, are we just providing political cover for that referendum? That's number one. And the other, now we have an awful lot of proposals, but are they just going to end up in a filing cabinet? So, thank you. I know it's slightly negative, some might say, but that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
I'll keep it short. I wouldn't agree with most of what Gina said there, to be honest with you. I don't feel like, I feel like I've learned an awful lot over the last 7 months, but I don't feel like I've been in school. And I think that's a very positive way to learn, to be honest with you. In regard to the recommendations, I do feel that they're representative of what was discussed at the tables I was at. Maybe others don't feel the same, but we're all entitled to our opinion on that one. And in regard to the arrangements for the meetings, as a member of the steering group, we have been involved in that aspect of it, maybe not to the degree at times that we might have liked to have been, but we were definitely included and we were consulted on the way things are run. So I do think this has definitely been our assembly. That's my opinion on it. just from a personal point of view, I feel very privileged to have been selected to be part of this. I was very excited arriving at Dublin Castle on the first day to be involved in the process, and I feel very proud to have been involved in this process. And I look forward that when in time when my children are old enough to be able to tell them about what I've done here over the last number of months, and hope that in time they will tell their children what Grandad did at his time at the Citizens Assembly. And I look forward to being, and I'm getting a bit emotional now, I look forward to being a good ancestor, and I hope you all do as well. Thank you very much.
Just in relation to what Sabrina and Edel said earlier, I just want to say thank you to all the facilitators at all the tables. I'm not someone who raises my hand in class. I don't put my opinion out there. But they made sure at every single table that everybody's voice was heard and no one dominated and that everyone had an equal say in what went up to the final recommendation. So just thank you.
Nicole. David.
Hello, yeah. Well, for myself, I'm naturally suspicious and very cautious, and that's how I approached the assembly here, and I think I shared the same anxiety as anybody else did coming in for the first day. But over time, my trust and confidence grew in the process, you know, and I didn't meet what I expected. I found that, this is my perception of it, and I could be wrong, I found that we were able to say things that perhaps civil servants couldn't say, you know. We were able to say things that not everybody gets the opportunity to do so. I got a chance to, you know, it can be very, you can feel very excluded when you're living in a caravan at the side of the road, which I've done for 10 years. I've also got an education, so I'm not typical in that way. But I didn't feel that here. I felt that the guys here, Cathal, Art and Aveen, really wanted us to express our stuff, and that if we didn't, they'd be disappointed in us. So I think that was good. And I'm not very good at drafting. I'm not a great committee man. And I needed help to get my little bit into Word form and onto into the process. And I got that help, you know. Some of us are going to get what we want, and some of us aren't going to get what we want. And then as we go forward, you know, our recommendations are going to meet the challenge of, you know, the huge global corporate finance thing, which is a machine, you know. And who's going to challenge all that? You know, I don't know. So, you know, we've got a process which is going to go on for a few years. You know, this won't end now or in a few years or however long. And we may have success and we may not have success. But I'm a big believer that how you deal with failure is as important as how you deal with success, you know. And I feel that we were all respected here. We were all treated well. And that's really important. That doesn't happen often, you know, but it happened here. So I'm very grateful to everybody. I'm not going to name any names or anything, but I felt very much part of everybody here and what we did. And I'm very glad to have been part of it. So thanks very much, guys.